welcome to the Trinity Force Podcast. Yo, it's that Triforce cast beaming straight to your home. Grab a beer so we know Pone ain't drinking alone. Send an email, a quick tweet, just pick up the phone. Leave a message, hit the beep if you're a creep, watch your tone. Discuss the meta game, patch notes, whatever helps your stats most. Obi-Pone Kenobi is your last hope to snatch gold. So grab your headphones and join in the fun. We'll try and force in some jokes and some cringeworthy puns. Yo, we can make it together, people. Trinity Force Podcast. These boys are second to none. Now that's the end of the intro. It's time we begun.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 809 of the Trinity Force Podcast. I am your host, N.A. Eric, and tonight it is me and Matt and John, and we're talking patch 13.10. Yes, that's right, 13.10, which has all the item changes and some champion changes, but basically a whole bunch of item changes and some bug fixes, as they always have. But yeah, major item changes, so we're going to be going through that. We're not going to discuss MSI unless it happens to come up in the banter. We're going to save that for next week and do a whole MSI episode because by then it might well be over, so we'll see. But we're going to save the main part of that discussion. So yeah, but before we get into all these changes, guys, how you doing? Matt, you're looking fly as hell with that button down, dude.
Yeah, I'm feeling so great today. I had a whole bunch of sleep last night. Today's been a great day. The rain didn't really come that much today. I feel great. Everything's going my way.
Nice. Have you been getting the floods that have been happening in the lower Midwest or so?
Not really as much. Our drainage system is really designed for floods. Ironically, we're really good at floods, but not good at all with snow or any ice. As soon as it starts to hail, it's all over for us.
Sure. Okay, because I've seen that there's some floods coming through in like Oklahoma and Nebraska, and Goose said that there's a whole load of rain that's been coming down in Missouri. So, yeah, I'm glad it's not flooding near you. That's great. Cool. Did you play any League today while you were in such a great mood? You had the perfect mental for it, unless maybe you didn't want to ruin your great day by playing League.
I played one game today and I lost it. I immediately stopped because I knew I was going to go on a downhill climb. I didn't want to do any more because of that.
Respect.
I'm feeling pretty good other than that. Yesterday I had a pretty good climb. I lost 5 and then I gained back 6, so I put myself back up plus 20 LP and I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, 11 games and still going with a positive that's pretty good. Now I ask you though, was it, you won maybe like 6 and lost 2 and then you proceeded to lose 3 more and then you were done, or was it pretty much back and forth?
It was honestly, it felt like it was negative 17 or something whenever I lost or something. It didn't really feel too bad whenever I was losing. Like yes, it does suck. But I mean, like for me, whenever I was winning, losing, it was more to answer your question. Like a win, or sorry, the loss, like a 3 in the loss row, three losses in a row, then like 2 wins, and then 2 more losses, and then getting myself back up right after, just pushing myself through. I really should have stopped and stuck to my rule of saying whenever I lose 2, I should stop, but that day I was pushing through and just trying to grind it.
Yeah, I feel that. Cool. John, how's your day been?
Good. I've been pretty busy. I had to do a thing to get my license for a different state, so I had to learn a bunch of laws and stuff. So that was very fun. I'm glad I'm not a lawyer.
Sounds so interesting.
Yes. Yeah. I'll spare you the details on that.
Cool.
But not too much League. I mean, I've just been playing some with friends, playing some ARAMs, but I've been pretty busy. So, but been good.
Cool.
What about you, Eric?
I thank you for asking. I've been good. I played some today. I played like 4 and went 2 and 2. In the 2 losses I had, the game was while it didn't end at 15 minutes, both of them, they were well over by 15, but probably over by like 6 minutes or so because of Oh my god, it was so bad. There was well, last night I played a game and I was telling um I was telling Goose about it because we were playing, and then I was telling I don't know, someone else. And then anyways, like I had a Master Yi jungle and a Draven ADC. Oh no, it was today actually. I was telling Zill, that's who it was. And they were both like from minute 3 just typing obscenities back and forth at each other, and like, okay, they're playing Draven and Yi, so it's not totally unexpected, but come on, guys, it was totally like a free win then. And no, but yeah, they were on level 40 and 60 accounts respectively. So they didn't care. It was their alternate accounts. They were like, all right, I feel angry at the world. League is going to be where I vented. So I lost some LP there. But then I played with Zill and just played Maokai, and I forgot how strong he was. So he has such a low pick rate, but he's still almost as good as he was before all the nerf hammer came through. Yeah. And I learned as well that Maokai saplings are not set off by Evelyn when she's in stealth, so then other stealth champions don't set them off. I wasn't sure. I thought that's how the interaction worked, but it definitely is how it works. So, yeah. But yeah, other than that, life's good. I'm sunburnt right now. I was out yesterday at like up at the lake with my girlfriend and her parents. And we went on like a 2 hour, hour and a half kayak ride down a river, and then we helped to put out the docks. So was in the sun and didn't really think about sunscreen all that much because it's like middle of May. Probably should have because I'm burned a little bit, so I can feel sensitivity on the inside of my knees, and then I don't feel burnt, but I still look a little burnt on my face. But that's about it. So yeah, I've been busy too, but I've been putting in some decent gaming time lately. So I feel like I'm actually getting into good league form again. Like I was never like off, but I was more autopiloting. Now I'm feeling more mentally engaged with a lot more of what's going on. So, yeah.
Nice. Well, also the getting sunburnt there is behind the knees is the worst.
Behind the knees is really bad. For me, it's on like, it's not behind, I guess it's on like the inside half. So if you have like your hands on top of your knees, then it's like left and right in like the
Okay.
inside there. Not behind, but behind. I had that once before. Oh my god.
That's rough. Yeah, that's
It's
horrible.
awful.
The worst burn I've ever thought of that I've never heard of anyone having is on the bottom of their feet. That would be so bad. So whenever I'm at like the beach or whatever and I'm purposefully laying out and like not, I don't ever just like lay there and go to sleep to tan or anything because I feel bored. But if I'm reading a book or whatever and flipping back and forth between on my stomach and on my back, then I put sunscreen on the bottom of my feet because I'm worried that they're gonna get burnt. And I've never heard of it happening, so maybe the skin down there is more resilient. But Christ, trying to walk around on the burnt bottom of your feet would be so awful.
Yeah, that sounds miserable.
Yeah,
It's just like walking on coals at that point.
basically. Basically, man. Yeah. So, but otherwise, I am good. I started a new job today, although I couldn't really do all that much because my laptop wasn't working. So, I was just on my personal PC and doing as much as I could to stay busy. But yeah, missed new employee orientation because I couldn't get into the laptop. I'll get through it in next couple weeks or so, whenever I can get in. But yeah. Yeah, so I'll be moving to Denver in a month, so I just started my job remotely for out there, and yeah, I'm excited.
Sounds
Awesome.
super exciting.
Yeah, yep. But you know what I'm even more excited about, gents? It's this patch. This patch is a doozy.
Yeah.
So we're gonna.
That's crazy.
So I would say let's just hit the champions first because there's not that many of them, and then we'll get into, and they're not even that substantial generally, and then we'll go into all the items. So, we can run through some of these. So first off, Akshan. So his passive bonus damage now scales with 60% AP. So he has an AP ratio on his passive. The base shield was reduced from 40 to 280 based on level to 40 to 280 and uses level growth instead of, okay, so it's at different it's at different breakpoints as opposed to being linear, is what I'm getting from this. And then his Q bonus move speed now also scales with, it gives 5% per 100 AP. So he's getting some AP ratios on. Akshan hardly ever builds AP in any way, but I think they're doing this for the Rage Blade changes that are coming through, and we'll talk about those when we get down. But if you're playing Akshan and not building any new items, then he's functionally the exact same champion. He does not change at all. That's my read,
Yeah, I think
anyways.
with a lot of these changes, they're going to be a lot more, in general, just going to be a lot more AP ratios onto ADCs that never really had them in the first place.
Yep.
That's what it's looking like in general.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, on to the next note, Callista as well is getting some AP changes as well. On her E, it now scales with 20% ability power and 20% ability power per subsequent spear. And also now slows with a 5% per ability, 100 ability power. So basically, the more ability power you have now, the more it slows, and you get a little bit more damage on top of it.
Yeah, and that, I mean, now I could see
It's
a very
funky.
cheesy AP, a very cheesy AP Callista build. Because if you build full AP, your autos are not going to do that much. But you can, you can throw the Q through something with a whole bunch of spears and kill it, and all of those spears will transfer into the next thing, and then explode them for like 50 spears. So you could do that with lethality now, but imagine with the AP ratio on this, and just all of a sudden just getting one-shotted from like 3,000 health by Callista. That's gonna be happening, I guarantee it.
First it was AP Lucian, now it's AP Callista, boys. Let's get it.
Yeah.
I,
That's
w-
insane.
I wonder what Callista. I'm looking on the wiki right now to see what her AD ratio on that ability is. So, her Rend has a plus 70% bonus AD. So it's 70% AD and 20% AP. Interesting. Okay. Apparently, you can only have 254 spears in a target. That's actually coded into the game. So I guess at some point they don't want to max out the memory or something. Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yep. Okay. Well, there's that. Kindred. W damage now scales with 20% AP, and the E slow now scales with 5% per 100 ability power. I'll just go through Vayne as well. Vayne is now getting an AP ratio on her Q with its 50% AP as well. So all these champions are ones that auto attack a lot and could reasonably use the old Rage Blade. Now they can use the new Rage Blade, which has an AP ratio, which again we'll get into the stats more later. But that's that. So anything else really that you guys want to talk about with these ADCs? I mean, it's basically the same gist for each one.
Yeah. Nothing too much.
Yeah, I don't have anything
Vayne
to really
top
add.
maybe with a Q, I guess. I don't know. Maybe potentially there might be like a cheeky build with it. Who knows?
Yeah, perhaps. Let me look. So I thought Vayne. Okay, so
There
I thought
was that like Riftmaker build that she would do like sometimes, but
yeah, and I thought, I'm just looking on her wiki. I thought she had an AP ratio on her E, but she doesn't. So this is her first AP ratio.
Oh.
Kindred, I also thought had an AP ratio somewhere because Frank talks about it every once in a while. Kindred has no AP ratios. Wolf deals magic damage, but there's no AP ratios. Okay, so never mind then. Yeah. Ivern was supposed to get a mid-scope update, but that's been pushed back one patch, so we don't have to talk about it. And then Nico is getting some buffs for just overall buffs. She kind of needed it. So her Q bonus monster damage is increased from 30 to 70 to 35 to 95. The W bonus monster damage increased from 50 to 75, and that's on the enhanced auto attack, the every 3. And then her R AP ratio increased from 100 to 120. So she's going to hit harder with her R. Thoughts on the Nico changes, Matt?
I still haven't gotten adjusted to her WR combo from the bush, so I'm scared to see that ability power increase. It'll take some time, but eventually I'll be happy with it. I'm happy that she's getting buffed though, because she didn't feel too good other than playing support and just trying to play those cheeky plays.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I feel like basically the same thing. I mean, I've seen some support, but other than that, just the W damage is definitely nice.
Yeah, I mean, all of this is nice. It helps every form of Nico, because of the R, just always helps. So, yeah. Plus, again, I'll bring it up now. She's gonna like Rageblade for top lane attack speed. Nico is gonna love that item. So, yeah, I mean, I've played her a little bit, and everywhere that I've seen her, she seemed a little underwhelming. She has 49% win rate in mid, 49.5, and support is 48.3, and jungle is 42. She is statistically the worst jungler, which is hard to get because Kiana's rated as a jungler still, and Kiana's god awful right now. She has a 44. So to be worse than that, you're talented. And Nico is worse than that. So
Extraordinarily bad.
yes. Yeah.
But the cannon minion clear. It's the best clear of them all.
Yeah. If people count their
Also
minions, then then Nico jungle or Nico support doesn't work.
I saw some guy who does clears did a full clear with cannon minion Nico. It was like 4 minutes and something, like 4:04 or something like
My
that.
recommendation. Yeah,
Shit is
that's why I
hilarious.
mentioned it.
Just so glad
It was
someone
fun to
did
watch.
that.
I don't know why I watched it, but it was hilarious to watch.
I haven't watched that. Can you guys send that to me? Or
I'll
somebody?
send it to you. It's
Okay,
great.
cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
I gotta watch that now. Yeah. But cool. Okay, so that's all the champion changes for the whole patch. Not much there. The juice of this is in the items. So, mage items are getting hit the least out of all of them, or getting changed the least out of all of them. So, first off, Lost Chapter. So the recipe got changed. So it used to be Amp Tome, 2 Amp Tomes, Sapphire Crystal, and 80 gold. Now it is an Amp Tome, a Sapphire Crystal, and 315 gold, which is a total of 1100. I think that's the same. Or actually, no, it's 200 cheaper. Lost Chapter, they're saying, is a crucial item spike, so you want to be able to get it faster. Basically, just get that online a little bit faster because relative to Roa, the Lost Chapter items aren't feeling as powerful across the board, basically, than building Roa or building into, Rocket Belt or Night Harvester if your champion can use it. They're just not feeling as strong. So giving Lost Chapter, trying to get that a little bit earlier and get that online before Catalyst is nice. Because Catalyst was 1100 and it was increased to 1300. So now Lost Chapter is the cheaper one. So I wonder who's going to swap back between the two.
Who knows? I think with this change, I think the a good old niche strategy that might come to play. Back in the day, people used to run Mana Crystal as the first item, and then have Future Market as the rune. And you could actually go and take an early back, to which then you can get those power spike basically of the Lost Chapter a lot faster compared to your lane opponent.
Yeah, I
Trying to
think
get that item rush ahead.
if you hit perfect CS, it's like through 5 waves you could get it, and your lane opponent would need to get 6, so you could come back, teleport back 1 wave earlier and go into dead, or maybe 7 waves they'd need. So now this means you can get it 1 to 2 waves earlier. It's still something that people do. I did it actually yesterday, and it was cool. Yeah, I did it on Malzahar. I still didn't win the lane because I was facing a Silas, and I'm not a Malzahar player, and it wasn't that great. But I still did it. It's totally viable if you want to do it. So now it's going to be even cheaper to do that. Yeah. Other than that, the only other mage item that's getting changed is Death Cap is getting just flat buff. So the AP power percent increase was 35%. Now it's 40. So you're going to be getting 5 percentage points worth of additional AP in total. Just means you're going to have more AP. There's nothing to mince here. No interesting interactions or anything like that. Just means you have more AP.
Good old match or death cap. I was about to say mage cap. I don't know why. Anyways,
Yep. So that's mage items done, and now let's go into tank items. So tank items are 3 items are being changed here. So force of nature is getting nerfed. So the total gold cost is going down by 100. The health is increased by 50. The MR is down by 10. The absorb maximum stack. So the number of stacks of damage that you would need to take to get the additional move speed and the slow resistance, I think it also gave, was 6 and now it's 10. So you need to take damage more times to get its passive online. It no longer grants 25% reduced magic or 25% magic damage reduction, just flat. That's gone. Now it grants 30. So basically, I actually wouldn't think that this is a nerf. This seems like a buff, quite honestly, now that I'm looking at it more.
I don't know. That like the 25% magic damage reduction is pretty.
Oh, I misread that.
That's
Sorry. So yeah, let me correct myself there. That's a good point. I totally misread that. Thank you. So it no longer grants 25% magic damage reduction, 25%. Now it grants 30 bonus MR. So 30 flat. It used to be 25% less. Okay. Never mind. This is definitely a nerf with that.
like I don't know. This probably needed a little nerf. Like you just buy this item and then a mage, it does nothing to you. Like it felt like a one buy item and they just are useless against you. So
Yeah, very true.
I think this is so good.
And the move speed that it gave as well, or I still guess still gives, and everything. Like even if there's not that much magic damage, you can still totally build this because it gives you move speed even passively, and it gives you a decent amount of health. It's just a good item overall.
It was like by far the go-to like magic resist tank item. It was not even really a question. Like Abyssal Mask was just also not great.
And Spirit Visage is only built on specific champions, and even then, just build Force of Nature. It's cheaper and it's worth. It just got a lot better stats, and it's just worth it unless you're needing to constantly heal through everything. But maybe then you just buy that afterwards.
and speaking of Abyssal Mask, it's also getting changed up as well. The new item recipe is Kindle Gem Negatron Cloak and 700 gold, which that's now 2,400. What it was previously was the Catalyst of Aeons, the Spectral Cowl, and 450 gold, and that was a total of 3,000. So you're going from 3,000 this old cost, and now it's 2,400. And we're also getting the new stats on it, which is 300 health, 60 magic resist, and 10% ability haste. The previous one was 550 health, 300 mana, 40 magic resist, and 10 ability haste. Basically, they removed the 40 magic resist. Oh, sorry, they increased the magic resist to 60, and they removed the 30 mana or 300 mana. Just removed it all completely with the mana, and we've got a little bit of health reduction. And they also removed the Eternity passive. Basically, just all that mana stuff that they had before is all gone. I think this will be a good little question with what do you want to buy, Force of Nature or Abyssal Mask, or maybe heck even might buy both. It's a good early game, or like a low cost magic resist item now. If you don't want that much, if you want the magic resist but you don't want to spend that much on it.
I think that this almost shifts into a support item because of the cost of it. It's 2,400 now as opposed to 3,000, so it got 600 cheaper. And support items are in the 23 to 2,500 range right there generally. So this definitely shifts into being a viable item for a support, where before it was just too expensive and it took too long to get online. Especially with the build path of they build Kindle Gems. They build Null Magic Mantles into Negatron Cloaks, and then 700 is a little painful for a support to sit on, but you can first item this as Nautilus. He would love that. And if you have a mage bottom lane, if you're playing with a Vigor, if you're playing with, I don't know, if you have mages on your team and you have a lot more magic damage around, then this item is just better because if your entire team is AD, you're never building this unless you're diluted. But I think that this overall got more usable, which is nice.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like it was just never bought. Like I don't know. It was like a forgotten item.
Other than the Nautilus mid, which we're seeing now, that's the only thing I've seen buy it in like a year.
I haven't seen Nautilus mid in a while, and you just remind me of it. Oh my gosh. It's one of
Oh,
those things you don't really expect, but then whenever it comes out, you just freak out because of it.
Well,
it is
when
all
time
over
to
the
be
place at
alive.
MSI, which is why I brought it up.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, it is pick ban right now. So, yeah, but we'll talk more about that next week. Last tank item that's getting changed is Radiant Virtue. So the new recipe is Aegis of the Legion and Giant's Belt, 600 gold, plus 600, so it's 2,700 gold. So what was it before? It was, let me pull it up, Radiant _ Virtue. Ah, there we go, I can spell. Oh, I can't spell. Okay, so Radiant Virtue before was Aegis, so that's staying the same, and it was a Kindle Gem and an additional Ruby Crystal, and it was 3,200 gold. So it got 500 cheaper. It has less combined gold cost because it was 800 down to 600. It's just so they removed some health from it, and they removed some other core stats of it to make it cheaper and make it more viable for a support to buy it, because it basically is being built by supports and then a couple of tanks. Yeah, but the health is reduced from 400 to 350, so it has 50 less health. The ability haste was cut in half, so instead of having 20, it has 10. The guiding light, which is the unique, upon casting your ultimate, you transcend for 9 seconds, and you increase your maximum health by a certain percentage and cause you and your allies in an area around you to heal for a certain percentage of your max health. So that there, the increased health reduced to 12.5 from 15%. So it used to be 15% of your max health. Now it's 12.5. And the heal per tick was has been increased to 3.3 from 3%. So a slight change in the overall numbers. It shifts it more to healing your allies than empowering you. And then so Primordial Dawn is the Ornn version of the item, and that's being changed respectively as well. So, thoughts on this, John? What do you think about this Radiant Virtue change?
I know Goosey's gonna like this.
Yeah, he is.
Deeper, more access for supports. So, I mean, I think like you were saying, a lot of supports were building this anyway. So that'll be a nice change for that, because 3K is super steep for support. But yeah, I mean, I like all these things. Reduce the ability haste a little, health a little bit. I think it was a really strong item, so I mean, I think this is good change.
I think that
I think it's a
junglers are.
healthy change.
I think that junglers are still going to like this a lot too. The ones that build it. I mean,
Yeah,
this is going to be
exactly.
even better for Vi going Black Cleaver Radiant Virtue if you go that path. It's still Maokai is going to love this as well. I mean, you could go this on so many different champions. Sometimes Scion goes it. It's I don't know.
Sejuani.
Yeah, Sejuani, good one. I think that once we see the summer split of pro play come around, this item is going to be everywhere. Everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be more popular just because it's so cheap too. No.
Yep. And
All these items.
it was a lot less gold. It wasn't that gold efficient before. I don't know the new efficiency. I haven't calculated it, but it was 85% gold efficient. So that's actually pretty bad for a gold efficiency for it. And it got increased by 8% for every additional legendary you had. Now it's just not going to be as... It might be a little bit better stats-wise for what you're buying. Maybe not, though. I haven't done the math.
I should have done that before we started. Oh well.
Yeah, Matt, what the fuck?
Oh, dang, I'm failing my job.
Yeah, Matt put together all the notes for us. Did a great job, by the way. These are fantastic. So, yeah. Okay, so Let's go bruiser items now, gents. So,
Bruiser.
Mhm.
um, I guess we'll just keep going this way. I'll just keep reading through and we could talk about them. So, Trinity Force is getting a buff, just a flat buff overall. AD increased from 35 to 40, so 5 more attack damage. The attack speed has been increased by 5 percentage points. The threefold strike duration, that is the passive on the item. Duration was increased from 3 seconds to 5. Let me just see exactly what that is, because Triforce is not built all that much, so let me just read what that is. Okay, basic attacks grant 20% bonus movement speed for 3 seconds, and if the target is a champion or a structure, increase their base AD by 4% for the same duration, stacking up to 5 times. So that duration was 3 seconds, now it's 5 seconds. So that's actually really nice for Triforce users. And then the Orn item is also getting buffs in line with the normal one. Thoughts on Triforce, Matt?
Um, I put down here it's an indirect change to Nard because it's Nard felt like you could get the Triforce procs and then uh it would just be a little bit more shorter, but this is actually just giving him a little bit more of like encouragement to build this item uh more often. Also, I'm super happy because Ezreal, I always build this item, and having that change from 3 seconds to 5 seconds is going to be a little bit more exciting for me. I always love this one instead of Crit Ezreal. I don't know why. I just tend to lean towards Triforce.
So why go Triforce on Ezreal game agnostic compared to Sunderer?
Um, because Sunder, I mean, if you want to go tank shred originally with the new tank with the new Surrender,
Yeah,
we'll talk about it in just a
old
second.
Sunderer is
But with
what I meant.
old
Yeah.
Sunder, if you want more of a tank shred, that's what you would go. Um, I like Triforce with the Conqueror stacks because
Sure.
you would just get a whole bunch of AD from the Conqueror stacks, and then it also scales up with the Triforce as well. It all just becomes overwhelming because you keep on comboing that with your auto attacks and Qs, and you just hit like a truck nonstop. And it feels really nice compared to the Sunder where you have to consistently throw out the Q, make sure you hit the Q, and if you miss your Q, then well, you're out a lot of damage.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I bet since you're going Conqueror, the attack speed also feels nice to weave autos in a lot more.
Exactly.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I agree. I feel the same way. Like I like Trinity Force with Conquer on Israel.
I'm a psychopath. I like to go lethality Ezreal.
Lethality Ezreal. Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah. Essence Reaver into Prowler's Claw. And Manamune as well. Maybe a Manamune, maybe not. But Essence Reaver for sure. And then, yeah, some sort of maybe Prowler's Claw, maybe Eclipse, maybe Duskblade, depends on the game and what's going on. But one of those 3 mythics, but now those will be different mythics. But that's what I would did before. So yeah, but I'm a total
You can't
psychopath.
skip. You can't skip over the Tear Sheen combo. It's just so strong on Ezreal.
It is, yeah. Yep. But yeah, I think that going back to Triforce here, the main beneficiaries are going to be people that buy it. I don't know if anyone who doesn't buy Triforce now is going to shift into it. I don't think it's that drastic, but I think everyone that builds it is going to benefit a lot more, and people who should be building it situationally should definitely be building it more now. And so you mentioned Gnar, which is a great one. Darius, which is also in your notes, can benefit from this. Alawi should be building this. She shouldn't be building other things, just because she has so much base AD. I believe Kled maybe should be building this situationally because he has some weird base AD numbers where he has very high. Basically, anyone that has really high base AD benefits the most from Triforce compared to other items. And then you pair Triforce with Sterix on a bruiser, and it's absurd. And even with the buff that Sterix is going to get, which I guess I transitioned into that a little bit accidentally, that 2-item spike for bruisers is just getting better across the board. I think we're going to see more Triforce and Sterix even coming out of the jungle now, or just in top lane becoming more of a menace. So really the biggest winners here are, like you said, Gnar, Ezreal a little bit, but Darius, Alawi sticks out in my mind Those are the main ones for me. Yorick could be as well if he takes Triforce.
Yeah, I think even like, I mean, I don't do it that much, but even if you were to go Bruiser Rengar, I think this could be decent too. For similar reason you were saying.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Works.
Let me see about. I'm trying to think of who else. Base AD. Champions by base AD. I should have prepped this a little bit ahead of time, but yeah, Jax. I mean, Jax has
I
a
don't
lot of
think
things. This
Jax does
works.
anymore. He has a
Yeah,
lot of options.
he has a lot of options, and Sunderer is generally just better because he doesn't need the attack speed. I think it's just much better to hit really hard for him. Nasus could build this, but I think Sunderer would still be what you want to go. Let's see, value at level 18. Yeah, Olaf, nah, not really. You could on Garen, but Garen, I think, is better with Stride Breaker generally just to stay on top of people. Skarner, if you're going to AD, Skarner loves this item.
It's true.
Forgot about Skarner. I always forget about Skarner. I
Yeah.
love Skarner.
But those are like the main ones that I could see. You could go, normal Bruiser Udyr if you're that person that does that, and he builds Triforce. Set does sometimes, Camille maybe. There's a lot of champions that can. Don't know if they really should, but it's more forgiving for everyone now if you're not supposed to build it, but you still do. So, okay. So I was talking about Sterix, so I'm going to jump down to that one just so we can hit that real quick. So small buff here. It now grants 25% increased size and 30% tenacity for 8 seconds after Lifeline is triggered. So I guess that's actually a pretty big buff, but not a ton of champions are building Sterix, even though that item, in my opinion, is Omega busted, especially for the champions that have high base AD or if you pair it with Triforce. If you look on the wiki and see the numbers for it, it says it's like 40% gold efficient, but the wiki fails to understand your conversion from your bonus AD to base AD or vice versa, whichever way it goes, to really count it. Because at face value, without that passive on it, yes, it is terrible, but the shield is huge. The lifeline shield there, it's just fantastic as an item overall. So we should be seeing more of a Sterix meta again, but we're not.
Yeah, I feel like everyone forgot about this item.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this will definitely come back, especially with the new lethality changes. We'll get to that coming up as well. We'll probably see a lot more assassins being popped up, so Sterix will definitely be built a lot more often.
Yeah, for sure. So maybe a return of Xin Zhao a little bit. That'd be cool. Yeah. Okay. Sunderer. So the Spellblade attack damage ratio increased from 125% to 160% of your base AD, and the health ratio was reduced from 6% as a melee, 3% mage, to 4% as a melee, 2% range. So it's dropping by a third for it's dropping by 33% for each of them. So the Spellblade, the actual health ratio that it's doing of the target's max health is down for your health ratio, but the AD is up. So it makes more sense if you're building more AD rather than stacking health to go with it. So this actually feels better for someone like an Ezreal. This feels better for Fiora to be building. This feels better for I don't know, if you're going to be building this into damage, as opposed to going like Nasus and going Sunderer and full tank. That is worse now. It's just worse.
I think that's good though.
Yeah.
I think that's all right.
Yeah, agreed. Matt, any thoughts on Sunder? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I haven't really played top lane that often. I'm not really sure whenever I see Divine Sunder. For bot lane wise, I don't really see it that often, so I don't really have that much comments about it. I put down it looks like they're trying to make it better into squishiers and weaker into tanks because it's what it seemed like. But I don't I don't know how this is gonna pair out in the actual top lane.
Yeah, I mean
For
it's
bot
not
lane wise, this
gonna.
is exciting.
I think for top, and this also gets built a lot on junglers that can use it. I think this doesn't change a ton about the actual about who's going to be building it. It's still going to be good on the champions that build it. The Viegos, the
Right.
Yoriks, the Alawis. It's still going to be good. The
Cameo.
Nasus, yeah, several others. Vi still likes this. Wukong still loves this. That sort of stuff. But it's just, yeah, I don't know. I think that this is situationally better, situationally worse, like we said. So if you're building this into full tank, it's just worse. If you're building this with more AD, it is better. It will be better over time.
More bruisers.
Yeah. Woo.
It's exciting.
Whoop whoop. Cool. Stride Breaker. So the AD increased from 50 to 60, and the Ornn item also got a 10 increase. So 10 extra damage on Stride Breaker, nothing else. Do we think this changes anything for the item?
I mean, other than not for the item, no.
Garen mains are happy.
Yeah.
Garen, Kled,
That's
Darius,
Olaf.
Olaf.
Yeah, Olaf's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Wow. So actually, Stridebreaker's base stats without getting any additional legendaries are almost 110% gold efficient. So you're actually getting, it's going to be even more gold efficient. Jesus, let me do some quick
I
math
didn't
here.
realize it was that gold efficient already.
Yeah, let me see really quickly here.
Aaron main's eating.
Ooh, hold on, I messed up my math. 1 second. Matt, do you want to run through Gore Drinker while I try and do some math to see
Yeah,
how much this is actually going to
absolutely.
go up?
So with Gore Drinker, the total cost has been reduced by just 100 gold. Originally it was 3,300, now it's 3,200. And the mythic passive bonus health was increased from 50 to 75. So just a little bit more health and a little bit less of a cost, just making it a little bit more gold efficient as well. Probably just trying to balance out the item with gold efficiency compared to the other items as well. Just small little touch-ups around the board is what it looks like.
Yeah, I think just small buff definitely will be nice. I feel like the item's fallen out of favor a little bit, except for people who just go Gore Drinker
mean,
pretty much exclusively.
If you're building already like Red Cane, it's still going to be good.
Xin Zhao's still going to like it. The variant of Renekton and Aatrox that build it are still going to like it. But I don't think that, like you guys said, I don't think this really shifts it into being picked when it wasn't picked before. Maybe you could. I mean, it's not even like you'd build this on Olaf instead anymore because Stridebreaker also got buffed, so it's not like that's worth it.
Right.
I don't know. I think this, it's just better for those champions, but no one else is going to be building it if they weren't before. Yeah.
But Hullbreaker, though. Whoa. Whoa.
Tell us about Hullbreaker.
The new recipe for Hullbreaker. It's going from a pickaxe phage, a winged moonplate, to... Wait, no. That's the new recipe, sorry.
Yeah.
And then the old one is pickaxe, and then... What was it? The weird... I don't even know what it was.
It was pickaxe phage before. Now it's pickaxe phage moonplate.
It was one other thing, though, wasn't it?
I don't think so. Maybe a ruby crystal, but I thought it was just the two things.
Yeah, I thought it was ruby crystal too. Let me check. Oh, you're right. Pickaxe and phage. Yeah. Okay. And then, so on top of that, the AD is being increased from 50 to 60, and now it gives you 5% bonus move speed. Scion mains rejoice.
This is gonna give a buff to our double jungle strat.
Yeah. I mean, I guess other than I haven't seen this item too much other than for Scion and I guess Fiora maybe sometimes. But I don't know. This 5% bonus move speed seems pretty pretty annoying, but we'll see. I think that AD is, I don't know, that'll be pretty obnoxious as well. But yeah, also total cost is going from, it was 2,800 before, now it's 3K, so will be a little more expensive, but I think you're getting some pretty good stuff for 200 gold.
Yeah, I like that they're buffing it. I don't like the way they're buffing it, because now we'll start to see some champions buy it and then still go team fight because it has decent stats. But if they I think if they're trying to embrace the identity of Hullbreaker, why not, instead of maybe give some buffs to the stats? Okay, that's fine. But more, put that 200 gold worth of stats or 300 gold into the empowerment of the minions, or the stats that you get when you're alone, not just flat that you have all the time. Or yeah, I don't know, like do something different that makes it so that when you do group, you lose this buff and anything potentially that you were also losing before, to make it so that you're not going and you're not building this and still team fighting and building terribly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think buffing the passive or something like that would have been better. I don't know.
Yeah, I think buffing it
It's
is
still
fine.
buff,
The
but
way
it's
they did it
nice.
is bad. That's my thought on it.
I agree with you.
As you should. I am the leader.
How dare I deny?
Yep. I did the math though as well. I realized why it was taking me so long to do this math on Stridebreaker, because instead of hitting the times key, I was hitting plus, and I was like, what is happening? It's definitely more gold than this. I was just hitting my plus key. I'm a moron. But
Oh no.
so it went from being 108% gold efficient to now like 112% gold efficient. So that's pretty good. That's very high.
That's definitely not bad at all.
Before you even think of the unique passive, or the passive or the active with it, or the legendary, the mythic passive that it gives you for getting legendaries. Before you incorporate any of that, it's already 112% gold efficient. This has to be, I feel like this has to be the most gold efficient mythic. I mean, I could look, but I feel like it has to be.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
How gold efficient it is.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That
Yeah, let's see. I'll keep looking and I'll
feel
try
like
and
that's
find
a little
one.
dicey, like making this item, messing with the stats, like you were saying. I don't know that I like.
Never
the way they
mind.
buffed it, like you
The
were
first
saying.
one I looked at is more gold efficient. Crown has, I guess, it was not changed on this patch. So Crown's stats are 127% gold efficient. Holy mackerel.
What?
Good God. I get it.
No one builds that shit anymore.
Yeah, no one does at all. I get why Crown has to be, because it's all stats and a shield. So I get it, but so anyways, I can be done with doing the math there. Yeah, so we have one more bruiser item, Maw of Malmortius, or Malmortius. The total cost was decreased by 100. The combined cost was decreased by 100 as well. No build path changes, it's just 100 gold cheaper. Lifeline duration was 5 seconds, now it's 2.5. So you're going to get the shield for half as long. And the cooldown was increased by 15 seconds. Now it's 90 seconds as opposed to 75. But the lifesteal now lasts until the end of combat. So before, your lifesteal that you would get would fall off after the 5 seconds. Now your shield will fall off after 2.5 seconds. But if you're still in combat for 30 seconds more, you're still getting the lifesteal. I wonder if that means the active will the actual shield will go on cooldown, or will it take for you to leave combat to go on cooldown, is what I really want to know. I'm guessing it's the latter scenario, which means that sometimes you want to not fight and not, kill jungle monsters to let it reset, get out of combat, to let your shield come back up in later game team fights. Or mid game, I guess, realistically, because late game you always have 50 to a minute and a half in between. But mid game, I could see you wanting to try to optimize and hop out of combat. Yeah, I don't know. I like this change. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with the duration being reduced because
Yeah.
5 seconds for a fight, like for a shield like that, is pretty wild.
Mm-hmm.
But
You only needed it for a burst second.
yeah, so I don't know. It did seem very frustrating playing against sometimes, where it would just feel like it would last forever.
Yeah, I think they should re-increase the cost, or maybe make it 31 or something, and change the lifesteal to physical vamp. That's what I would change with it. Because by making it
That's an
lifesteal,
interesting change.
you are effectively ruling out champions that don't auto all that much. Like Aatrox doesn't use this then very well for through combat. I mean, like Alawi's not going to use this well. Anyone that doesn't attack fast or use autos to do their damage while still doing physical damage. Pantheon, another one, or I don't know. I mean, there's so many champions I could go through that I'm not going to even start naming anymore. But yeah, they wouldn't use it as well. They don't use it as well because it's lifesteal as opposed to being physical vamp. But I get that if it's physical vamp, it's a lot harder to balance. So, I don't know. Maybe that's fine. Okay. Anything else with the bruiser items, folks?
No, I want to do lethality items.
Okay, lethality items it is, and then the ADC items. Oh my God, there's so many of those. And support.
Don't get me started on supports.
We might have to put this into a second episode or something. I mean, we'll see. We're at 52 minutes, so we're still doing pretty well getting through these. Okay, lethality. John, you wanted to go through lethality, so why don't you take Ghostblade for us?
I'm excited about this one. Yumu's Ghostblade, the newest mythic on the block, is gonna be dank. And by that I mean it has a new recipe, which is gonna be serrated dirk, Warhammer, and then
you mean it's gonna build out of the items that every other lethality item's gonna build out of still?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Surprise! You just build a bunch of long swords and stuff, but it'll be 3100 now. The new stats will be 60 AD, 20 ability haste, so tasty, 18 lethality, and the new active. I am super excited about this. Wraith Step. Gain 25% bonus move speed. Ooh, and ghosting for 6 seconds. Yes. 45-second cooldown on that. And then the other unique passive is Haunt. While moving, you generate what is called 1 spectral shard for every 45 units traveled, and you gain 1 bonus move speed while out of combat with champions for every 4 of the shards, up to 40 bonus move speed with the 100 shards. And then at the max shards, you also get 8 to 20 based on level lethality. And then it doesn't stop there, folks. Dealing damage to an enemy champion causes the spectral shard to reset after 3 seconds. So that was a lot, but I mean, you're going to be going real fast and be hitting hard. And then the passive is the mythic passive will be that it gives 7 bonus AD per legendary. And then there's Orin's stuff. This is going to be the new go-to for Rengar, 100%. It's going to be disgustingly good on him. I mean, you're going to be like a fucking torpedo just running around, getting resets, and like you're just going to be so fast. And this, we'll go into it a little more, but like this overtakes Duskblade for sure, in my opinion.
100%.
As the new go-to for a ton, probably assassins. I mean, not just Rengar, but like a ton of assassins.
Cough,
I mean,
Hecker, and really Cough.
Fun. Yeah, that sounds pretty gross.
Yeah.
So much move speed, some ability haste. Like it already gives 18 lethality, and then you get scaling lethality based on the at max like stacks of the shards. Man, you're gonna be, if you have Blue Smite And this passive, man, you're gonna be fucking just Mach 10 around the fucking rift. It's gonna be insane.
Yeah, it's kind of
Like, it just
absurd.
sounds super fun.
It sounds
then-
very fun, but very broken. And especially because it's only
Yeah,
100
yeah.
gold more expensive than it used to be. 100!
Yeah, that's wild. That's really funny to me. But yeah, now I don't know. Like,
That brings up a good point. I used to with the assassin jungles. I always used to go the green smite for avoiding CCs. That's my typical go-to, unless if it's like there's not much CC, then I'll go the blue smite. But now with this item, honestly, I feel like it's just gonna be a go-to. Just take blue smite every single time because of it.
I mean, it depends on the champion, right? Like, I think, obviously, like, if you're going Hecarim, you know, and building him assassin, which he's kind of turned into an assassin champion nowadays, but,
Right.
yeah, you're still going to go blue smite with him, right? But, like, I can't speak to Rengar. I'm not going to try to on that one, but I think, like, if you're going AD Shaco, you would still want Duskblade. It's just going to be better for you still. I mean, I think that, like, Kiana isn't going to want Ghostblade here. I mean, maybe for the quick burst, but Talon's going to love this too. This is not going to be a Jace item who builds lethality stuff. This is not going to be an Aatrox item. I mean, who are other assassins? Zed is not going to build this, I don't think. I think he still wants Prowler's Claw. Same with Pyke, is not going to build Ghostblade.